Hey everyone, are you ready to finish our 2 scoops pillow? We finished the pillow top and now we are going to actually finish the entire project. Are you ready? Let's do it. Hey everyone, Cristin here, and today we're going to go through a lot. So on our last tutorial, we finished our pillow top. The entire pillow top is complete, and so now we just need to finish off the pillow. So there are a few more steps, but I'm thinking we can do it in a day, and I'm really excited to get this one done because it is so darn cute. And to me, this is really a June, July, August pillow, right? Ice cream. So yeah, and I forgot to eat ice cream on my last video, and I just realized I forgot again today. How funny to forget eating ice cream. Sorry, I did buy some, but I'll have to do it later in the video. Anyway, so we've got our pillow top done and we are going to complete our pillow. So I got to go to the Salt Lake City Quilt Festival with my friend Cristin from Daylily Fabric Shop, and it was amazing. A girls' weekend. We had literally a blast, and all of the people at my girlfriend's quilt shop, they are our sponsor for this 2 scoops pillow, right? So all of the people at my girlfriend's quilt shop, I actually got to meet them. I got to meet the rep that I've worked with on our coupon codes and getting all the supplies out to all of you. I got to meet Chris, the owner of my girlfriend's quilt shop, and well, I met them last weekend too, but I mean, I got to meet the whole team this time, even Johnny B. It was pretty amazing. It was such a fun weekend. I had the best time ever, and Kim ended up showing up. She was teaching a class in Arizona. And so she flew in on the last day, and I got to see her and her beautiful family. That was so exciting. So another really fun weekend, 2 weekends in a row of just amazing. So I'm feeling very, very blessed. So let's go ahead and finish up our 2 scoop sponge pillow because we have Cup of Cheer right on our heels getting ready for us. So let's jump right in. So I haven't cut my fabrics yet. I'll just warn you there, but I'm going to tell you about it. So I've got my little outer border packet, and it is the green stripe fabric, so green stripes. And on the Kimberbell official pillow, they used like a cream for their quilting when they quilted the borders. I'm not going to do that. I'm leaning toward the seafoam from our Hemingworth kit. That's what I'm leaning toward for my quilting. You do it however you want to do it. And some people are not quilting their borders, and that's certainly an option too. For me, I definitely want to quilt the borders because a couple reasons. So one is then there's batting behind all of the pillow tops, so it's very uniform. And did you see the quilting borders? Oh my gosh, they're so cute for this 2 scoops. So I've been really looking forward to that. There's one that's got the truck, the ice cream truck. So I'm definitely doing that. So the other thing is, let's see. So they have it on the official pillow as the stripes are going this way. Sorry, I'm holding it the wrong way. On each of the sides, the 2 left and right border, they have the stripes going horizontally. So you can see the stripes this way. Do it however you want to do it. I have not cut my fabric yet. I assume that in our fabric kit, they gave us the amount right for that cut. So just make sure that you're cutting it correctly. Obviously, I haven't cut mine yet. I am going to back it with fusible stabilizer. I haven't done that yet. And I am going to add batting. So if you've seen my past tutorials, I do it a little bit differently. Kim taught us this technique, I think in Candy Cane Lane. I'm pretty sure in Candy Cane Lane she showed us how to do this. And I've been doing it ever since for the borders, and it just makes it so much easier. So I use a glue stick. I have a purple glue stick. I'll show you that in a bit when we get to that part. And I'm going to add on my batting. So let me just tell you. So on your fabric, so the fabric, which again is horizontally, for the stripes, for that we want to cut 2 pieces that are 4.5 by 16.5, 4.5 by 16.5. And then for our batting, we're actually going to cut it, normally we cut it a 1/2 inch larger, and we're going to cut it a 1/2 inch shorter for our batting. So here's the long strip of fabric, by the way. So I haven't cut my batting yet either, but for the batting, we're going to cut 2 pieces that are 4 by 16. And as we start gluing it on, you'll see as we glue it on and press it down against our fabric, because we're going to adhere our batting to our fabric rather than using all of the steps of the quilting design. That's how I'm going to do it. And that's how I've done it on several projects recently, so you've probably seen that. But as you start adhering your batting onto your fabric, it kind of stretches out a little bit. So just don't be exact that you have to have 4 by 16 on your batting, because it will end up being shorter. The 4 inches will be accurate, but the 16 you'll probably end up cutting. You want to cut a 1/4 inch up so that you've got your seam allowance, right? So we're going to start at a 1/4 inch in, and we're going to finish at a 1/4 inch in, so that we've got our 1/4 inch seam allowance for our batting. So we are going to do that. I am using the Project Batting by Kimberbell. We are also going to use the ribbon that is from our embellishment kit, and we are going to top stitch this on, and I'll go over that when we get there. And then after we have the borders on, after they're all quilted and we have them attached onto our pillow top, then what I'm going to do is sew on my buttons. Oops, I pushed the button, sorry. So in my embellishment kit, I've got my little music box. I didn't mean to push it. Sorry about that. It's so cute. But I am going to go ahead and sew on the buttons and the little sprinkles. That will be the last step for me. And I like to do that before I put the backing on, just because it's easier, right, to be able to get through all the parts of the pillow top. So that's the other part we're going to go through. We will do the music box, and we will do the backing fabric. So we'll get through all of these parts today. I think we can fit it all in one tutorial. So we will see as we get there. There was something else I was going to talk to you about. I don't remember. But anyway, I'll pop in. I am going to head off to the gym. So the next parts of the tutorial, I will be messy and sweaty, but I wanted to at least start it looking halfway decent. So anyway, for those that met me at the Quilt Festival, so there were several people that came and introduced themselves to me, and that just made my day. That was so, so nice. And I appreciate you putting yourself out there and saying hello and meeting me and allowing me to take photos. So I'm going to add those onto this tutorial at the end. Also, my shirt today, someone sent me this adorable shirt. I have the embroidery version. I actually made the embroidery version, but this is the, I don't know what you call it, but the t-shirt version. And, it didn't come with a name or a card or anything. So you have to tell me if you sent me this adorable pink shirt. It's got a bicycle and it's got a sewing machine and fabrics, and so, so, so cute. I love this shirt, and I love that somebody thought of me. So just tell me who you are. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, I'm going to run to the gym, but after that, I am going to start on my borders, and I am going, oh, that's what it was. It's the quilting. So I didn't talk about which quilting I'm going to use. I'm going to use the one that has the trucks. I'll add the number into the video because I don't remember off the top of my head. But I am going to quilt it. You do not have to quilt it. Some people put theirs together without quilting the borders. That's up to you. I'm definitely going to quilt mine, and I'm going to use that one that has the super cute truck and all the different ice creams and stuff on the quilting design for the border. And we're going to use a 4 by 16 since our final cut size is 4.5 by 16.5. And remember, I am going to start with my fabric that way and keep it that way. I am not making it larger. You can, if you don't feel comfortable with it. I'll show you the process of how we've done it in other videos. But if you want to start with it larger and then cut it down, you can certainly do that. I don't want to do that on my border, so I'm going to start with it at 4.5 by 16.5, and that is our final cut size. And I will show you how we're going to do it, and it's not going to be a problem. And don't forget, as I've mentioned before, if you stabilize your fabric well, and with the batting, you won't have much pulling in, because if you just leave it as is, if you were to just quilt this fabric, you'll see that the stitching pulls it in a little bit and will make the borders a tiny bit smaller. Pillows are super forgiving, super, super, super forgiving. You don't have to be super exact, and don't be, oh, I should have done this better, whatever. Find the good in your pillow and all the work that you've put into it and all the love that is in this pillow, and it's going to be phenomenal. I think it's so darn cute. I mean, I can already see little things like I should have something, whatever. We all do that, but I don't want to hear it. I want to hear how amazing your pillow is. And if you choose to quilt the borders, great. If you don't, that's up to you too. That's totally fine. And in case you're wondering what the thing is that I would have done differently, on my cart, I would have added a name on this part. I saw some people did it on the awning, and that's cute too. I would like to have done something here. But the reason I didn't, and you can always add in, right? We've got our embroidery software. You would add it in on your software and then just bypass all the first steps, and you've got it all. You'd have to hoop it correctly and use your machine skills to be able to get it lined up just right. But keep in mind that there's going to be little buttons here, so you don't really want to take away from that. But that's the only thing. Everything else, I think I'm really happy with what we did as a group. I added words in on the popsicles. I loved that. I think that this is the most adorable pillow ever. So like really ever. I love this one. So I'm excited to get it finished and get it on my bench. So anyway, we're going to go through lots of steps today. So stay with me and let's go ahead and get started after a gym workout. Hey everyone, so now that I have my supplies all prepared, I wanted to give you a couple little tidbits of information. So like I said, you're going to want your border pieces to be 4.5 by 16.5. But you know what's really interesting? I noticed that we have this big long piece of fabric, and mine was 9 inches wide. So 9 inches wide, I need 4.5, so I just needed 2. So all of this is extra. How weird is that, right? So if yours isn't 9 inches wide, then you would need more of it, obviously. But mine was 9 inches wide, so I only needed a very small bit of it, and then I just cut it in half. So these are 4.5 by 16.5. I did back them with fusible stabilizer, and then I also cut my batting. And like I mentioned, I am going to use my glue stick. It is a purple glue stick so that I can see where it goes. It works really well for me. There is a link under this video on how you can get them on Amazon if you want to use those. You can do the full 5 steps of the quilting design if you prefer, but this is a quicker, easier way for borders, and I've been doing it this way for a while and I really like it. So I am using Project Batting, and I cut my batting to 4 inches by 16 inches. And like I mentioned earlier, we probably won't need the full 16. We'll see as we start putting the glue on and pushing it down. It ends up being a little bit, we don't need quite that much. And it doesn't matter as long as we get our 1/4 inch at the top and 1/4 inch at the bottom so that we get our seam allowance. So start with it at 4 by 16, 2 pieces, just like your border fabric, and then 2 pieces, obviously 2 pieces. And then the other thing I did is I ironed my ribbon. So we're going to do that a little bit later after we do the borders, but I just want to point out it came all bundled up, and so I did iron it so that it's a little bit neater and crisper. So I'm going to go ahead and start prepping my batting onto my border fabrics, and I will show you how to do that in case you haven't seen it before. And then we'll start on the borders and then the ribbon, and then put that together and do the pins, and after the pins we will do the embellishments or the music box. Maybe that'll be before, I'm not sure, have to think about that. So one other thing, sorry, oh, you guys said you like bloopers, so there you go. So I think I mentioned earlier that I toured Kimberbell. So I went to the Quilt Festival in Utah, and we stopped and got to tour Kimberbell. Total bucket list item, right? You get this really cool button. Like, you're not going to get that anywhere else. It says I toured Kimberbell. How fun is that? And a little fabric and the button. This was from one of the Bella boxes. I think the most recent one. I don't remember. Not the most recent, because the most recent is the France one, but the one before that, or the Paris one, I should say. So anyway, this I toured Kimberbell. I'm kind of excited about it. It's a silly little thing, but I have a bunch of buttons. So if you've collected all of the buttons from various classes and various Bella boxes and projects, And I got this new My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop one when they came to deliver my quilt last weekend. How cool is that? So anyway, I have a bunch of buttons. So now I have the I Toward Kimberbell one. I didn't know that that was something that I would get by going to Kimberbell, but you do. So in case you didn't know, and I will include photos of my trip and seeing Kimberbell in My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. That was pretty cool. Definitely a bucket list item for me. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on my borders now. So let's finish this up. Hey everyone, so I've decided I'm going to merge my borders together, completely optional, but I want to walk you through it if you decide to do that. So one thing I want to mention is remember that we cut our fabric to 4.5 by 16.5. That means that we want a quilting design that's 4 by 16. There isn't a 16, obviously. And so we need to figure out how we want to do it. So let's just look at a few options. So I'm going to open up Embellishments Essentials. If you are in the market for software, please remember that I am an affiliate with Embellishments Essentials. So I have Embellishments open now. I have a light pink screen. It will usually open to, I think, yellow or white. You can change that in the Preferences tab. So that's why mine is pink. So I'm going to start by going to this merge stitch file to bring in a design. So it's just asking you, where is this design that you want to open? And you can close up folders until you find it. I'm on, let's see, that's a different design. So KD 2 Scoops Quilting Bundle. All right, so on this, so I am going to click the border. So see border food 1 here. I'm going to open up that and then open up the embroidery files. There's block by block or clear blue tiles. So I've shown this before. I'm going to show you again just in case. So here is the block by block, or I'm sorry, the clear blue tiles version. And all that means is that it is just the quilting design. It doesn't have the placement for the batting and the tack down or the placement and the tack down for the main fabric. None of that. It just has the quilting design. So that works really well if you're using the clear blue tiles and you want the design, you've got your quilt sandwich already all done, whatever. But we are doing the block by block method, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out, and I'm going to go, instead of the clear blue tiles, I'm going to go to the block by block method. And like I said, that just means that then it's got the 5 steps for the quilting. So I mentioned we want a 4 by 16, and there isn't a 4 by 16, but there is a 4 by 7, a 4 by 14, a 4 by 12, and a 4 by 10. So it's up to you. You could do, if you've got the big hoop, you could do a 4 by 14 and just have a little space on each end there. I like to fill the whole border design whenever possible. So I really want the 16 inches. And what I can do is just have any extra run over. So if I were to do a 10 inch, where's the 10? Here it is. So if I do a 10 inch and a 7 inch, that would total up to 17. And I only want 16, so I would just let that extra inch run off of the edge of the stabilizer because I've already taken out my seam allowance, so it's not going to go into the seams or anything like that. So it's not a problem. So that's what I'm going to do. Like I said, you can pick it. It really depends on your hoop size. So if your biggest hoop is a 5 by 7, you would obviously do the 4 by 7 design here, and you would do it a couple of times, probably 2 or 3, depending on the look that you want. If you have an 8 by 12 hoop, you could do the 4 by 12 design and then also do the 4 by 7 and let it run off of the edge, or you could do the 4 by 10 like I'm going to do and then also do the 4 by 7. So there's lots of options. If you have the 6 by 10 hoop, the 4 by 10 will fit in there. But I am going to actually double them up so that instead of 4 hoopings, because imagine if I'm going to do 2 of the 4 by 10 and then 2 of the 4 by 7s, so 1 on each end, right? So 2 of them, because there will be the 4 by 10 and the 4 by 7 and then the 4 by 10 and the 4 by 7. So there's 4 hoopings altogether. But if you have a large enough hoop, you could join them. And I'm not going to join this way, but I'm going to join this way. So I'm going to do 2 of the 4 by 10s and then 2 of the 4 by 7s. And that will be easy for me to do, and it's easy to join them. So that's my plan. You can do it however you want to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on this 4x10 because I'm going to start with that. And I am on my 10x16 hoop. I can see that down here in the bottom. I'm going to, hopefully you can see that right there, 10x16. So I am going to move this over. I think I'll do, to think about this. I don't know if it would fit in a in a 10x10 hoop. Let's see how big it is. If I move this over, 4.5 by 9, at less than 9.5, so that actually probably would work. So let's try that. I'm going to try that. So if I go up here to this preferences folder, I can click on hoops. I don't have to because it's already there, but that's where it is in case you are on a different window. So I'm going to just look for my 10x10 hoop. And I've mentioned in the beginning when we first started in Brilliance that if you don't have a 10x10 hoop, you can easily add it. You would just click this new and then put in the dimensions that you wanted it to be, and you can see like I think there was a 10x16 on here already, and so I knew what millimeters. So see right here it says 272 millimeters by 408. So it was easy for me to put in a 10x10 using that size. Excuse my husband slamming the cupboard. All right, so I'm going to click OK, and now I'm in my 10x10 hoop. So I can see it down here, 10x10, and then I would just take this design and move it over. All the way over is my preference. And then I'm going to use those black dots to make sure that it's lined up in the center, or as close to the center as I can get it. All right, so that one is already done. So before I import another one or do a copy and paste, I'm going to change the colors because as you can see, the blue and orange are on here twice, and your colors may say something different, but either way there will be two of the same. So you can see I have 2 default blue and 2 default oranges. Actually, one is a light orange, so my mistake. That will not join. So that's good. Also, as I mentioned, we're going to not use the first and the second parts of the quilting. I'm going to leave mine on as I usually do, just so that I can remember on the tutorial to say you want to bypass this step. But those of you that are not doing a tutorial, you could click on it and click delete. You're not going to need that first and the second step, and then you don't have to change any colors because you can see the next 3 are all different. So you could easily do that. I'm going to go ahead and change my first and second one just so that I remember to tell everyone to change that or to, and I'm getting a call. Hold on. Okay, so sorry about that. Back to where we were. So any color, it doesn't matter. Pick a color and change that thread, and then these will not merge together. We want these two to be separate. Actually, these could be the same because we're going to bypass them anyway. It doesn't matter. All right, so default 1 blue and default 8 light orange. And like I said, these could be different on yours. It doesn't matter. But we just want these to stay the same so that we can join them. So now that we have that one all done, we can go ahead and click on it and hit Control C to copy and Control V to paste. It goes directly on top of the other one. So we're going to go ahead and move it all the way over to the right and make sure that the little black squares are lined up to the center. And then we have these two. So you can see that we have, these are the exact same. So it's going to go ahead and join. And that is what we want to happen. So we've got these two ready. I'm going to go ahead and go to Utility Join. And here, let me show you one thing first. So see, we've got 10 different steps right now. So we're hoping for 5. So we'll go to Utility and Color Sort. And it has been reduced by 5 color changes. So I'm going to click New View, and it opens another tab. So here is the original one with the 2 different sets, and then on the second one, now it's all together in one set. So when I go through it quickly, so the first one is the placement for the batting, the second is the tack down for the batting, the third is the placement for our main fabric, the fourth is the tack down for our main fabric, and it's actually just on the sides because it's a border. And then the last one is our quilting design. So all of those are together, and that's exactly how I want them to be. I need to do that also for the 4x7 design. And like I said, you can click on 1 and 2 and go ahead and delete them. I'm going to keep them in just so I remember to tell everyone to bypass them for those that are not using their software. So I'm going to go ahead and go to File, Save As, and I'm just going to do a stitch file. So File, Save, Stitch File As, and I'm going to put it back in the folder of where the design is. So I'm going to go ahead and just close this. Oops, that's not what I meant to do, sorry. I am going to go back to my desktop. Here we go. And in the desktop, I have the 2 Scoops Quilting, and you can save it anywhere, but I find it easier if I save it in the original folder because then I can use it again later. So it's in the block by block. I use Pez for my machine, and this is where all of them are. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. That's my Archer. And I'm going to say, this is the, which one? 4x10, and I'm just going to say twice. Okay, so I know that that's my double. All right, and then I'm going to go to File, New Page, and I'm going to do that exact same thing with the 4x10. I'm sorry, 4x7 design. We already did the 4x10. So I'm going to go back to the border design, and I'm just looking for the 4x7, and we're just going to run through this one quickly since we already did it, and you should know how now. So I'm going to click on it and move it all the way over. Yep. And then I am going to change the first 2 colors only. And like I said originally, you can go ahead and change those colors, or I'm sorry, you can delete it. You can delete the first 2 steps if you choose. I'm going to just change the colors so that they will not join with the ones that I definitely want to use. All right, so that one's all done. So I'm going to hit Control C, click on the stitching, Control C to copy, and Control V to paste, and then click on the stitching and move it out of the way, all the way to the right hand side. And this is the 4x7 design. All right, and so now we've got the 2 steps. So this one is all of, if I were to click on that, it shows all of the first border design and then all of the second border design. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Utility Color Sort. And it's been reduced by 5 color changes, New View, so that I can see it, and we already know exactly what's there. So I am going to go ahead and do a File, Save As. Save stitch file as, and I'm going to say the 4x7 twice. All right, so now I have that, and it's half the work, right? So instead of 4 hoopings, it's 2, one for the 2 10s and one for the 2 7s, and so it's all ready to go. And I will show you as we do the border design, as we do the quilting, I'll show you, I'm just going to let the end run off. I'll show you how to hoop it, all of that. We're all good to go. And so let's go ahead and get stitching this now. Okay, so I have my border fabric here. I'm going to turn it over to the fusible backing side. And then I've got my batting. So 4.5 by 16.5, 4 by 16. And then I am going to take my purple glue stick, and I am just going to very simply glue my batting. So I'm just going to get it started here, and then I'm going to put it 1/4 inch down from the top. Doesn't have to be exact, obviously, but roughly 1/4 of an inch so that I have my seam allowance there. All right, and then from there, I'm just going to keep gluing. You can do it on here, you can do it on the batting, doesn't really matter, whatever works for you. This does dry very quickly though, so you don't want to do the whole thing. I would do it in bits and lay it down. So very simple, right? You just put, and by the way, if you have that spray and you like that spray, you can absolutely use your spray. I am personally not a fan of this spray, so I use the glue stick. So do what works for you. You know how I say, do you. There's more than one way to do things. this is just what works for me. I really like the glue stick. I think this came out well. I sent, when we were doing the glue stick for the first time, I sent my husband to the store to get me a glue stick, and he came home with this purple, and I'm like, what? And I'm so happy with that. I really like it. It makes it so much easier. You can see how much is on, where it is, where you might have missed. It works really great. And it's just so easy, and there's no mess. It's not messy. I don't like this spray because it's very messy, in my opinion. Maybe you're really good at this spray. But for me, I find it to be very messy. So you can see as we get to the end here, see, even though I cut it a 1/4 inch shorter, it is a little bit too long. So that's what I was saying, that don't be prepared to trim it down if you find that it's a little bit too long, and that's totally fine. So I am just going to trim it because I don't want it in the seams, and it doesn't have to be exact, but you want about a 1/4 inch that it is not going to go. So that's a little bit more than that, but that's super okay. And then just make sure that last bit is glued down. So how easy is that? All right, and then you do that to the other one, and we're all good to go. Okay, once you have your first hooping done, whether you're doing them together or separate, doesn't really matter, but once you have your quilting done, and then we have all of this left that doesn't have any quilting, you can probably see it better here. All right, and then we have all of this left that doesn't have quilting. So this was the 4x10 design, and then we're gonna do the 4x7 design down here. So it's really easy to do. I've already done the third step, which is the placement for the main fabric. So you probably can't see this too well because it's a light thread, but there are two 4x7 pieces here, okay? So once you have that, I decided to do mine sideways because then the ice cream truck is facing the same way. So instead of having one here and one here, I have one here and one here. So all you're going to do is fold back where you last finished off. And you can see once you trim your the stabilizer from the hoop, you'll see the little bits left over. So you just fold back from that stitch line. So here is where the stitching has ended, and you can see where the stabilizer from the first hooping is. Hopefully you can see this a little bit. All right, and we're just folding it back, and then I'm going to take it and place it above. So like I said, remember I've got mine going this way, so make sure your truck is facing the right way, and then just put it over the top part. Hopefully you can see this. All right, so I'm just the folded part that's already been quilted, and I'm just lining it up with the placement for the main fabric inside of that square, right over it, directly over. And then I'm just folding it back, and then I'm going to tape it in place, and I'm going to do it on this top part that's already been quilted, because we know it's not going to stitch all the way up there. All right, and then this bottom part, it's going to run off. So since I need 6 inches of quilting and I'm running a 4x7 design, that means it's going to keep going a little bit further. But since I have my seam allowance, it doesn't matter. All right, so it's not going to go, it's not going to bring batting into my seam. So it's totally fine. The only thing is that I want to make sure that it stays. I'm going to watch it while it runs that 4th step, while it tacks down the 2 sides, just to make sure it stays within my placement stitch. So I'm going to do that on both of them. So here it is again. Here's my truck. I'm going to just fold it back to where the quilting has ended, right before that. Or right at it, I should say, right at where the quilting has ended. So right there, our quilting is done. And all of this is the blank quilting. So then we're just going to make sure that it's lined up. So our truck is pointing this way. And the completed part, I'm just putting over the placement stitch for our main fabric. In this scenario, it is a border. And I'm folding it back, making sure that it stays within that placement stitch. And then I'm going to tape over the top part where I know it's not going to stitch and it's not going to go over the tape. Very simply. All right, and then like I said, while it's stitching, I'm just going to watch and make sure that this doesn't move, because it could. You could tape it here and just watch it, and as it gets closer, you could remove the tape. Either way, whatever works for you. But this is how you're going to hoop it, and we're going to run the next design. And as I showed earlier in photos, I've turned my quilting design so that it's going to run this way instead of vertically. All right. Okay, everyone, once you have your borders quilted and sewn on with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, like that, then it says in the directions to iron the seams toward the border. So I did them toward the border, and look at how cute that is. Oh my gosh. I love the ice cream quilting. I wish I had done like a dark gray so it would stand out more. That would have been really cute, like the charcoal. I think that would have been fun. But anyway, mine are green. You can choose whatever color you want for your quilting. So the last step for the pillow top is the ribbons. So there's one long ribbon. It says to cut them in 2 pieces of 16.5, but mine was 32 inches, maybe just a tiny bit over 32. So mine are a little bit under, they're like 16, basically 16, maybe a tiny bit more. So, and that will work fine. It's not a problem. So all we're going to do for the cute little ribbons is we're going to put them right over this seam here, and we're going to top stitch it. And you want to center it in a way that you're not covering your appliques. Like you wouldn't want it over your cherry pieces like that. So we're just going to center it in a way that it will be offset from our appliques. Something like that. Cute, right? All right, both sides top stitch. And then I am going to sew on all of the buttons. So as I showed earlier, there are these cute little buttons, and then also the sprinkles, or I think that's probably what it's called. And I haven't gotten that far in the directions, but that's what is after the ribbon. And you can do that after. I prefer to do it before working on the backing, just so that you have easy access to be able to sew. So I'm going to turn on a TV show for a bit and do some hand sewing. I know some people do them on their machine. More power to you. I don't know how to do that. So anyway, do it however you want to do it. Actually, I talked to a gal at the quilt festival, and she glued them on. Great, whatever works for you. So first part is getting the ribbons top stitched on. So let's go ahead and do that. Oops, I lied. I'm going to go for a walk first. Then I'm going to top stitch my ribbons. Are you getting your exercise? All that ice cream, you know, we need our exercise. Okay, I'm back from my walk, and I top stitched my ribbon on. So I want to give one little tip on this, actually maybe two. So I lined up the first part of the stripe in the center of the seam. So that's what worked for me to be able to keep everything away from the appliques. So I did it, that first stripe right in the seam, basically. And that was very easy to do. The other thing I did is I chose to top stitch it with light blue thread, and I did it on both of the stripes throughout the entire thing. And I just thought that looked nice, and it held it in place well. So that was my little tip. That's what I chose to do. And now it is time to sew on the buttons. Are you ready? Okay, so once you have your pillow top done with the embellishments sewn on, with the ribbon and the quilted borders, the whole bit, once that is all done, then it is time to start on the backing. So for the backing, it is the yellow stripe fabric, and if you look in the directions, it tells you 10 inches. You need two pieces that are 10 inches wide, and then one regular piece, the rest of the piece. So the reason that they tell you that is because you have to measure your pillow top. So you are looking for the what is it? Not the length, because that would be the length. I don't know, I guess the width. Not sure, but anyway, you want to measure from the top to the bottom of your pillow top and determine that size. That's super important. Measure it a couple of places to make sure it's all even. Mine measured out at 16 1/4. I'm not sure, excuse the phone. So 16 1/4, I don't know if that is width, length, I don't know, but top to bottom, okay? So mine was 16 1/4 inches, and then from there, you're going to cut two pieces that are 10 inches wide, and then by whatever length, tallness, width, oh no, sorry, but the top to bottom of your pillow top. So mine 10 inches wide by 16 1/4. All right, and you want two of those, one for each edge, and then you're using your full with the fabric, You're using the whole width of fabric. Just cut off this selvage and then the 2 pieces, and then all the rest is your middle piece. So once you have those, so mine, I didn't measure this, but 16 inches tall, 16 and a quarter, sorry, mine was 16 and a quarter by whatever's left from after taking off the 2 10 inches. So once you do that, then you're going to fold it in a 1/4 inch and then fold it in a 1/4 inch again, and stitch it down so that it is a nice little tack down. I don't know what you call it, but I used a zigzag stitch, and I always do on these. All right, and then on one edge of each of the 2 10 pieces, so the one edge, so a 1/4 inch in, a 1/4 inch again, and then sew it. And you could do a regular stitch or a zigzag, doesn't matter. So just one edge. One is going to be the raw edge, and we'll put that against the edge. So once we have both of those, then we are going to want a label. So I'm going to do a label. A label is optional. I am going to go to the computer and work on a label, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. And the last thing that we need, actually we'll do it before we put on our backing, but the last bit is to make that little music box holder, the little pocket for the music box, and then we're done. So I'm going to start designing my label. I'll show you how to do that, and we will sew that on. Just a heads up, if you look in, when you purchase the label, make sure and use our affiliate link for our sponsor. So that is underneath the video for My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. I think it ends in 42 if I recall. But that you want to click on that and then go to the search bar and type label. And actually I'll show you that on the computer. But when you do the label, it will come with directions, and you can follow those directions on how to attach the label. I actually just sew it on felt. I've always done that, and then I just sew that onto one of the pieces. So do how you want to do it. It's all up to you. But I'm going to do mine on felt, and I just find that easier. But anyway, let's go to the computer and get designing our label. Hey everyone, so I wanted to show you real quick how to do a label. So I already purchased mine, but I'm going to real quick show you how. So if you go onto an open browser and go to YouTube and type in Cristin Creates up at the top, and then click on Cristin Creates, and then click any of the the 2 Scoops videos. So if you go on, here's a video here, any of the 2 Scoops videos, you can even go to the playlist and do it that way. So right here where it says click here to see links below the video, and then it keeps on talking, and you click the see more button here, and under every video it has our supplies that we need, all of that information. And then if you keep going down, it says please use our sponsor's affiliate link to order quilting designs for the bench pillow, available directly from Kimberbell as a direct download. So that's the same thing with the 2 Scoops label. So you just click on this. You can see it right here, My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop affiliate link, and you click on that, and it just takes you to Kimberbell, but it puts a little cookie on your computer telling you telling Kimberbell that you are purchasing representing My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. So from there, I just do it this way. It's easiest in my opinion. You find this little search tool, and you can type in 2 Scoops or whatever that you're looking for, and then you can see the quilt label is right there, the quilting bundle is right there, so you can easily find the items you're looking for. So you would click on the 2 Scoops quilt label, add it to your cart, and it is supporting My Girlfriend's Quilt Shop. They'll get a little kickback of some sort from Kimberbell to help with the items that they need to purchase from Kimberbell. So always, whenever you buy anything on the Kimberbell website, if you can use one of our sponsors' affiliate links, it helps them out. All right, so that's how you would purchase this quilt label. That's pretty cute with a little milkshake. All right, so I am going to now go to, once you download it, you have to unzip it. I've already unzipped mine. It's right here. I noticed that there's 2 files in here. I haven't opened it yet. I don't know what they are, but notice there's Quilt Label 1 and Quilt Label 2. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Embellishments Essentials, and then I'll be able to see what those are. So I'm going to just go here to merge stitch file, this little needle button here, click that, and then you have to tell it where that document is that you want. So I'm just going to go ahead and close files here so that I can find it easily. 2 scoops quilting bundle, that's not it. Here it is, 2 scoops quilt label. So I click on the little arrow, and then there's embroidery files or instructions. I want the embroidery files. I use Pez for my machine, and there they are. So here's why. So one says sweetly stitched by, and the other one says sweetly stitched for. So if you're giving your 2 scoops bench pillow as a gift, you would obviously want to use this for label. I'm keeping my pillow that I worked so hard on, so I'm going to double click on this, and it will go to my center. I'm actually going to rotate it just so that it's easier for me to see, because I want to add in words. So I'm going to click this little rotate 90-degree button here, and it is now rotated. So I want to add my name and the date, the month and year, maybe just the year. I'll probably just do the year. So I mentioned earlier, I like to stitch mine on felt and then just sew it on. If you look in the instructions that come with this label, there are instructions on stitching it, turning it inside out, and doing all that, and that works great. And that's what these extra stitches are, and I don't need those, so I'm going to take that out. So let's see, maybe I'll leave them so that I remember to tell everybody. So it looks like there's going to be quite a bit of stitching with all the little different colors. Oh, not too bad. Okay, very cute. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add my name in. So I haven't already done this, so you're going to be doing it along with me. I'm going to click this Create Letters button, and it will bring this ABC right to the center. I'm going to highlight the text here. It's right here where it says text. I'm going to highlight that ABC, and I'm going to type in Cristin Som. And then you hit return. I'm trying to think if I want a return between my name. Probably. I'm going to go ahead and hit a return. Let's see how that looks. Oh, it didn't do it anyway. That's funny. Oh, I probably have to put a space and then make it 2 lines. Multi-line text. Let's try that. There we go. All right, and then we'll hit set. And now we have 2 lines. That was really easy, right? Okay, so this is a nice font. This font here is one that you get free from purchasing in Brilliance Essentials. It comes as a native font. I think I would like a cursive font or something just a little bit fun or silly, different. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and then what I can do is right here, see, this is the ABC block style that we're using. I can go ahead and look through my different fonts and choose something that would be cute and fun. And anytime that you have any BX fonts, so let me show you real quick. I'm going to go to File, New Page. I've shown this on other tutorials, but just in case, let's see. So here is our folder. I'm going to go to my external hard drive, documents, embroidery files, and then I have all my fonts in one folder. So it doesn't matter what, I just want to show you how to do this. So I have all of my BX fonts in a folder. To import them over to your workspace, you literally just highlight them, grab them, bring them over, and then you'll see a little message that will say your font has been installed. I've already got that installed, and it won't redo it or anything, so it's easy for me to show you it again. But that's how you do it. You literally just open up your BX fonts, grab them and drag them over to your workspace, and then it installs them for you. And then once you have them installed, get this out of the way. Once you have them installed, this was that new page, so I'm going to go back to, okay. Once you have them installed, you would be able to click on that arrow and see all of the fonts that you have installed. You can see I've spent quite a bit of time dragging all of mine to the workspace, and now they're all there. So I have lots of options of different fonts, cute, fun fonts. So these are all really cute. So once you do that, then you would just go through and click on whatever, it doesn't matter, to be able to get an idea of what looks fun to you. Oh, I like that. So it doesn't tell me who they are. Oh, it does. So Designs by Juju. This is Gingerbread. That's really cute. So anyway, you would just go through here and look at all of your different fonts and see what jumps out at you and what you think looks cute. Let's try this Isabel. That's pretty cute right there. So very simple to do. You would do that for your name and the date if you decide to do both. I'm going to do them differently. That is really cute. I like the ones that are a little bit different. That's super cute. I really like that. So another thing that you could do, let's see. So just to add another one, I'm going to add another. You saw all I did was click this create letters button, and again you're just going to, this one is a single line, and I'm going to just put in 2022 and hit return, and then we would have to do some sizing obviously, but right now I was just looking at the design to see what looks cute. So you could and I'm going to do them different. I'm going to do the date different than my name, just to keep it interesting. I really like this one. I think I'm going to have to keep this. So from here, you want to just do a little editing. You want it to fit in nicely. So this blue arrow here and this, I'm going to click, I think it was the control button. Yeah, and it centers from, or it shrinks it down from the center. It might have been the shift button, I don't recall. So that looks really good. The other thing you could do is you could put it back onto one line. Let's see. Oh, it just took out part. Okay, there it is. It just was too low for me to see it. Okay. And then it's always, you have to hit return for everything to take place. So you could have it all on one line and shrink it down enough that it's going to fit well and put in the date underneath that, or you can have it as 2 lines. You saw how to do that. I'm just going to hit set. I like that. I really like that. I think that's super cute. So you have to click on the stitching, and then there's all kinds of, I've done several videos about if you wanted to change certain letters, like when you're doing a script font especially, you want to move them closer so that everything is lined up nicely and together and joined and all that. So you just want to play around with this. I know I don't want the same font for my name and the date, so I'm going to change that a little bit. Which one did I use? This was June Apple by Designs by Juju, June Apple, and it's just cute. I really like that. All right, and then for the date, maybe Kelsey. Oh, that's actually really good. I like Kelsey. Let's change this. So see how this puts it a little circle here? If I wanted to rotate this, that's easy to do. Let's try the shift button. Yeah. All right, so when you're working with BX fonts, you can see that I'm using a BX font, and it's just so easy to manipulate them and to make changes. So many easy, simple things. So I really like this. This is very cute. Just moving it around a little to see what I like. All right, so I'm not doing a whole lot of editing because I ended up not doing a script font because I think that June Apple is so darn cute. But you would just move this around to how you want it. You want it to fit within your your label, obviously, I'm going to take out this gray stitch and I'm going to keep this one as my sewing line probably. So you could center this, you could have the date off to the center here, however you want to do it. Not sure how I want to do it. I kind of like it just like that. I like this. All right, so once you have it how you want it, I think I need this to be centered a little bit more. I'm going to center it between the wording, the stitched by, and that Y, that lower Y gets in the way, but it's not going to touch, so that's good. And then I just have to either make this smaller or move it a little bit more. I think I'll do both. No, a little more. Good, good. All right, so once you have it how you want it, you're just going to go to File, Save As. Make sure and do a Save As so that you can start with a fresh design next time. It won't have your name and date on it, or if you don't think you'll ever use it in another way, you can save it just as it is. But in my opinion, it's always best to save as a new file so that you're not saving over the original. So I'm going to go to Save. I'm going to save working file and stitch file. If you do just a stitch file, it's pretty hard to make. Oops, I didn't mean to click that. Click, cancel. It makes it really hard to change the wording. So the wording is why you want a working file. Like if I decided, oh, I really don't like that font, I want to use a different font. If you've got the working file, it's super easy to make those changes. So I'm going to do both. So save as stitch and working. And then I am in my, where am I? I'm in my quilting bundle. I don't want to save it in my quilting bundle, so I'm going to just look for the, I think it was KD 2 Scoops Quilting Bundle, Sweetland 2 Scoops Quilt Label. So I'm going to click on that and go to Embroidery Files, and then in my Pez folder, and I'm just going to say Cristin 2022. So I know that that's my personal label. My machine's not on right now, but if my machine was on, I could go to Utility, send to Solaris, and it would send it to my machine. Your machine does have to be on for that. But look how easy that was to personalize a label, and I think this is a really cute one. So that was super easy, and we're done. So I can't wait to see your label. Hey everyone, so we're on the last step. So once you have your two end pieces and your middle piece, you can sew on your label to any of them. I decided on the middle piece, but you can do it on one of the edge pieces too. The only suggestion I would have is to not have it too close to any of the ends, because you're going to have your quarter-inch seam allowance. So before we can sew this backing on, though, you have to tackle that music box. I have to tell you, it was not easy. Sorry, but it was not. So you have to make a little pocket for the music box, and making it was a little bit confusing, but I'm going to go through it with pictures, so that part should be okay. But sewing it onto here without going through the front at all, it wasn't easy. I did not find that to be simple, and you guys are probably way better at sewing than me, so maybe it won't be so hard for you. I found it pretty difficult, but I got it on. If I got it on, you can certainly get it on, but if you find another way, like gluing it or Velcro something, this was not the easiest thing. But once you get it, the music box fits right in there, and then it's in the perfect placement so that when you press the speaker, cute, right? Guess what? Oh my gosh, it is finally done. It is so cute. I love it. I'm very happy with it. Very cute. Always cute products from Kimberbell, and the cute little music box, of course. So cute. How fun. So I can't wait to see yours. Share a photo when you complete your 2-scoop sponge pillow.